Well, if enough people ask, you shall receive. So in this video, I'm going over what I consider a great fragrance starter pack. So we got 5 different categories with a few examples for each. Just stuff that's going to be easy to like, great stuff to start out with for each category with varying budgets. Just overall, in my opinion, some great picks. And I want to talk to you about them today, so stay tuned. So before we jump too far into this, some of you OGs, veterans, and guys that have been around the fragrance world for a long time, that doesn't mean you can't get some enjoyment out of this video too, because you can always critique my picks and see if it's kind of the realm you would go for recommending a nice starter pack for somebody just getting into this, that's really starting to enjoy the hobby and wanting to build their collection with some safe bets. Let's get into this first category. So naturally, the first category is going to be something fresh. Everybody's favorite, the most easy to wear options out there, fresh fragrances. And of course, fragrances like Versace Man Fraîche is going to fall right into that. Citrus, watery, a little musky, has a touch of fresh spice. You know, ladies like the way this smells. It's one of the kings of summer, essentially. Very, very popular. You can get these for a relatively affordable price from discounters, depending on the size of bottle you want. A 1 ounce like this, $30-ish on up to in the high 40s, low 50s for a 100 milliliter bottle. They pop up at rack stores, they're at discounters, they're easy to get, they're easy to like, and it's a great pick. Fragrances like BVLGARI Aquamarine, while not a slouch in performance, not obnoxiously loud and ridiculously long lasting either, definitely a joy to wear. Easy to like, great in the highest of heat. This is a wonderful summer fragrance, which all these freshies are going to be perfect for the summer. But this is one that, depending on bottle size, anywhere from $40 to $60 from a 50 ml to a 100 milliliter bottle. I did buy this at a Marshall, so they do show up on occasion at the rack store, but they're easy to find from discounters online. This one's got that saltwater, seaweed, fresh citrus, super watery aquatic vibe. Very, very good fragrance. Another one that can get you some positive attention, that's going to be super easy to wear. There's never a bad time to smell fresh, and a fantastic example of that is BVLGARI Aquamarine. Final example for the fresh category is actually a flanker and one of its flankers. Dolce Gabbana Light Blue. So the reason I show you the original and the Intense is because you can kind of go either way here, because this is a modern day classic, tried and true. Works great, smells fresh, light, easy to wear. Ladies like it, the whole nine. This can be your one fragrance year round if you want it to be. Whereas this one's a little bit more dense, it's a bit more intense, as the name would indicate. It does perform a bit better, while the aroma is not as good as the original in my personal opinion. If you need the extra performance, this is the way to go. It does smell great out in the air, just not as good as this one directly off of skin if you want to just give yourself a little check and see how you're smelling. This one's a little bit too rich, close to the skin, very, very salty, in my opinion, with my experience. So I prefer this aroma, but this definitely performs a bit better. But in my opinion, you can't go wrong with either one or any of the other picks for the fresh category. Next, we're going to go with your versatile, all-around, all-season, anytime fragrance. Now, some of these are going to be blue fragrances, obviously, but this first one we're going to go over is not. While not one of my favorite fragrances in my collection, it's one that I can thoroughly appreciate. I do enjoy wearing. I don't think it deserves the hype it gets. I've gotten a lot of negative comments for that, but like I always say, not everything's for everyone, but there's a ton of people that love this, and like I said, I do appreciate it. I do like it. I'm talking about Mont Blanc Explorer. This is immensely popular. This is a Ventus clone type of fragrance, while not smelling exactly like a Ventus. I think this is maybe 65-70% of Creed Ventus. Doesn't share too strong a similarity, but it's definitely got the same vibe going for it. You can find these for a decent price. I paid $30 for this 60 milliliter bottle from Fragrance Net with the 35% off coupon code. They pop up at rack stores. Price is decent, but you're better off finding it from discounters online. This is one of those versatile do-it-all fragrances that can get compliments. Performance is going to vary. I don't get the best performance. I get about average performance. I've had people tell me they get phenomenal performance. It's one that you need to try for yourself. But based on everything, I see a lot of people like this fragrance. It's easy to wear. It's great for a workplace situation, dates, any time of the year. Mont Blanc Explorer, you really can't go wrong with it. These next 3 fragrances are kind of building blocks in a collection, starting with Dior Sauvage. While there's many concentrations and many variations to get of this fragrance, the easiest way to go that's tried and true is just get the original. The Eau de Toilette, it's the freshest of all the concentrations, the main 3 concentrations. I'm not talking about the cool spray that's in that aerosol can. I'm talking about traditional style fragrances. It's the freshest, it's one of the loudest, it lasts quite a while. It's a compliment magnet. It's a confidence inspiring fragrance. Definitely try before you buy, because some people don't like the ambroxan note, but a lot of people do. And like I said, this is a great starter fragrance as an all-around do-it-all, because it's one of the best all-around do-it-alls out there. And that's Dior Sauvage. Can't talk about Dior Sauvage without talking about Bleu de Chanel. So my personal favorite is the Parfum concentration, which is the only one I have, which is the one featured here. This one's a bit more dense woods, rich and warm, while still having some of that lemon and citrus up top. It's definitely the longest lasting, but not the loudest projecting. In my personal opinion, I would suggest for a starter pack to maybe go with the Eau de Parfum. It's the happy medium between the original, the Eau de Toilette, which is the freshest, and this, which is the densest, longest lasting, and warmest. The EDP, you get some of the woods, you get some of the citrus, the smokiness, you get kind of everything that makes one or the other great into one happy medium with the Eau de Parfum. So in my opinion, that's a great option if you're looking for a do-it-all fragrance that's perfect for work any time of the year. You can just grab and go. You can have this as your one fragrance that sits on the corner of your dresser, and you just give yourself some sprays before you leave your house. Bleu de Chanel. Last option in the do-it-all, most versatile category is going to be the polarizing yet famed Versace Dylan Bleu. A blue fragrance at its finest. It's a compliment machine. It's another one that's full of ambroxan. It's kind of got a lot of highlights from Dior Sauvage and from Bleu de Chanel in this bottle. While not one I would loved right away at first, it had to grow on me, but I did fall in love with this fragrance. I love and appreciate everything about the aroma, the performance, what it's done for me with getting me some positive attention, and how enjoyable it is for me every time I wear it. It's one that I don't have to respray. You do, at least for me, have a tendency to go anosmic, go nose blind, to where you don't smell it anymore. You'll think it's gone and think you need some more sprays, but not usually the case. Usually it's just a case of anosmia, and those around you can still smell you. I have verified that with several people on several occasions, but this is one that you can get in a decent price range. A 100 milliliter bottle like this around high 40s, low 50s from most places online. And this is another one that just can sit on the corner of your dresser, and you can just grab it, throw some sprays on before you leave the house every day of your life. No matter what you're doing, what the seasons, what the weather's like outside, it can do it all. Versace Dylan Bleu. Next, you're going to want something that's a little bit heavier, a little bit denser for the colder months. You know, the last two, we had Do It All, we had Super Fresh, which is going to be great for the warm months, but for the colder months, fragrances like Spice Bomb Extreme, which this is probably the most famed designer fragrance, at least on the social media side of things, when it comes to fragrances for cold weather. This stuff's a powerhouse. It's a sweet, spicy tobacco fragrance. There's a lot of vanilla sweetness here. There's some spices and a nice warm herbal tobacco. It's a compliment magnet. It's a powerhouse. There's nothing subtle about this. People will smell you. It's an all-day spray type of fragrance. It's one that works great at work, great on dates. This is these winter fragrances are great for a date night situation as well, but perfect to cut through the cold. If you live in a colder climate, which I currently now live in a much colder climate than I used to. I used to be in the Gulf Coast. Now I'm up in the mountains in Colorado. A lot more cold weather around me. Fragrances like this shine in those situations. It's got a lot of fame and a lot of hype on social media for a good reason, because it's one of the best cold weather fragrances money can buy. Spice Bomb Extreme. A hype beast in its own right, much more affordable than Spice Bomb Extreme. It's a nice sweet coffee leather type of fragrance that's very easy to wear, super easy to like, and performs well. It's Salvatore Ferragamo UOMO Signature. This stuff is a magic elixir. I've said that about a few fragrances on this channel, and this is one of them. Synthetic, sure. Nothing natural smelling about it. It doesn't smell like a fresh brewed cup of coffee. The coffee's not overwhelming. It's a little subdued but very present. The leather is soft, creamy, and smooth and just blends well. There's a little bit of a mintiness here, just a slight mintiness with some sweetness. It's a beautiful fragrance that in my experience can get you plenty of positive attention. It is strong enough to cut through the cold while not extreme with the performance and the longevity. It's still in that 8 to 10 hour realm in my opinion, which borders beast mode territory. But as far as that projection, it's not super heavy. It's enjoyable. It's in that average range. Yes, in the first 2 hours, a few feet out, people will be able to smell you, but it does start to sit a bit close to the skin. So if you're looking for something that's not too pronounced, Spice Bomb Extreme is very pronounced. This one dials it back a little bit while not taking away anything that you would like to have out of a nice winter fragrance. The Salvatore Ferragamo UOMO Signature. The loved, the hated, the often imitated Versace EROS. This being the Eau de Parfum flanker. This is a tester bottle. That's why it's got this on the sides. It's tried and true. It just works, people. It has a little bit of ambroxan, warm wood type of smell, vanilla, apple, mint. It's likable, it's lovable, it's loud, it's playful, not too serious of a fragrance. It cuts through the cold very easily. It's bright, it's uplifting, it's enjoyable, it's attractive. You can get the Eau de Toilette or you can get the Eau de Parfum. They have the red bottle flanker called Flame that people seem to love. I have only smelled a few times. It is a really good fragrance. I just don't have a bottle of it. That could have potentially went here, but in my opinion, it's tried and true. It's loved and hated for a reason, because the hated side of it is people will say it's played out, like several of these fragrances I went over here, because they're staples. They're great places to start. And if you're looking for just an easy fragrance to like, it's going to check all of the boxes: performance, attention getting, enjoyable, cut through the cold for the winter, Versace EROS, the Eau de Parfum can absolutely do that. Next, we're talking dates and evenings out. So yes, the winter fragrances, the cold weather fragrances could substitute in, but I want something a bit more geared towards more dinner date focused. Something like the ultimate La Nuit de l'Homme from YSL. This is a newer bottle, that's why the juice color is a bit lighter. This is like 2018, I believe was when I bought it. Yes, it's been around. Yes, a lot of people wear it. There's a reason a lot of people wear it, because ladies dig this stuff. It's that sweet, spicy, and very powdery cardamom. The way the cardamom is done in this fragrance, it does have a nice powdery appeal. Now, some of you new guys to this hobby may be hearing powdery and thinking, I don't want something that smells like baby powder. You have to smell, my friend. You have to smell. Try it on your skin to understand. It doesn't smell like baby powder. It's a sweet, spicy, powdery dustiness. When you smell it, you will understand. They do perform decent, not the beast that the darker color juice, the old bottles used to be. So if somebody tells you, oh, don't buy new when they're watered down, try it for yourself. Don't just take that advice. Always try it on your skin. Try it for yourself and smell it with your nose. I'm just here as a resource and a guide. It's tried and true. It works. It's a default pick for date night. That's why it had to be in here for this category. It's a great place to start. Yes, there's many flankers of this that I like more than this one personally. But for a starter kit, this is the perfect spot to start. La Nuit de l'Homme, YSL. Speaking of great spots to start, you could go with the Eau de Parfum here. It's got more love, it's more popular, but Dolce & Gabbana, the one, the Eau de Toilette, the original, still just as good. Not as dense and as powerful, though not much difference really. The EDP doesn't perform that much better. There is a little bit of freshness here, but it's mostly about this warm amber, this sweet tobacco-y type of smell. This is a seductive scent. It's very attractive. This is an extremely popular default date night scent, just like La Nuit de l'Homme. It's one of the must-haves, great place to start. If you only have one fragrance to go out on a date, this can be that fragrance. It's all you need because it's gonna work for you. And when I say gonna work for you, I mean it's got enough longevity, enough projection to grab her and make her want to come in a little bit closer. It's great. It's seductive. It's got that aphrodisiac appeal. While no aphrodisiac itself, what I mean is it has the ability to really put everyone in that mood, if you follow where I'm going here, and we'll leave it at that. Another one, don't just take advice from people. Try it for yourself. This may be the only one you ever need for date night. Now this one is mega popular for date night. It's super sexy and seductive. It gets a lot of love, a lot of love. Not too many people are gonna naysay you away from this one. With AZZARO Wanted by Night. You can get this is a big old 5-ounce bottle. You can get these for a pretty good price from discounters online. It's sweet, it's spicy. The cinnamon's a star here. Oh man, and it performs. It performs. It's more affordable than the other two. It performs better than the other two. And to be honest with you, in my experience, it works better than the other two. That's why I saved the best for last for the date night scenario. For a starter pack, this is actually the main one I would suggest you try. The other two are staples for date nights, dinner dates, stuff like that. This kind of overtook them. This is a modern classic. While not out that long, 2 or 3 years maybe, I think 3 years, superstar. This is a go-to for a lot of people because their lady digs how it smells on them, and your lady might as well. AZZARO Wanted by Night. For the final category is a nice, well put together, classy, luxury niche fragrance. Nothing too challenging here, but when you're stepping it up, you gotta step it up. We're not as safe while not challenging here. Nothing challenging, nothing that's hard to wear in my opinion. Starting with NISHANE HACIVAT. Why would I not pick Creed Aventus? Because Creed Aventus from discounters is even more expensive than this. And to be honest with you, this is a bit better than Creed Aventus. Now when I say that, let me rephrase and kind of break down what I mean. It's a bit more put together because it's more dominated by the oak moss and the woods and the musks and stuff like that. I find it's just a bit classier. It's a little bit more refined than Aventus. Not trying to knock Aventus, but if I had to pick between the two, I would go with HACIVAT. Hence the reason it's here instead of Aventus. There's a lot of ways to smell like Aventus. And this isn't an identical copy of it by any means. Like I said, much more herbal green, bit classier. No smoke, no smokiness, no birch here, and not heavy on any black currant. You do get the fruits, the pineapple and stuff like that, but it kind of takes a turn and does its own thing as it dries. This one you can find for decent prices. This is a 50 ml, mid 100s range from discounters. Great fragrance if you're looking for that one well put together niche fragrance to kind of step it up. Something that's going to really give you some confidence because you know you're smelling like that guy. You're that dude when you're wearing one of these fragrances. And NISHANE HACIVAT is definitely that. Dressier occasions, sports jacket suits, great for that. Next one that's very near and dear to my heart because it's one of my favorite classy fragrances. It's my favorite fragrance to wear with a suit, which is kind of what this category is about. It's being classy, it's a bit more well put together. Zaharoff, Signature Pour Homme, lavender, spices, resinous, oriental style fragrance. A lot of people want to put it in that barbershop category, which because of the lavender, I can get that a little bit, but to be honest with you, this is more of a warm, resinous, oriental style fragrance. There's a lot of woods here, the myrrh and the oud. Add that warmth, it gets nice and spicy on my skin. The lavender is very uplifting up top, don't get me wrong. The quality is dialed up. It is top notch. These oils were sourced from all over the world. This is a lovely fragrance. Like I said, my personal favorite fragrance to wear with a suit and tie. When I'm gonna wear a suit, this is the first fragrance that comes to mind. Is this what I wear every single time? No, but most of the time, yeah, this is what I reach for. Performance is no slouch, very long lasting. I don't find it to be an overwhelming projection, but I've had others say they can't do but 3 or 4 sprays because it's so loud off of their skin. So everybody's skin chemistry is different with these fragrances. Not super loud off my skin, but definitely long lasting and extremely well put together is Zaharoff Signature Pour Homme. And then finally, probably the freshest of the 3 choices I have right here, and it's the most unique I find for sure. It's from KAJAL. It's the original KAJAL Homme. not KAJAL Homme 2. This is still the best way, in my opinion of course, the best way to start with the house. It's the easiest to like, it's the easiest to wear, in my opinion. The orange blossom adds this beautiful, it's not a fleshy, you know, smelling the petal animalic type of orange blossom, which can be strange the way I'm putting that for those of you that are newer to this hobby. It's a very, very fresh and inviting orangey type of smell. There's a nice sweet powdery tonka bean here in the dry down. The oud is not overdone. There's nothing challenging about this. This is a very easy to wear oud, and because there's a slight powderiness from the tonka bean and there's a warm oud here, you would think that it's not built for the summer, but I've worn this in the hottest of Houston, Texas heat. This stuff works great in the summertime. This is a year-round luxury fragrance that smells like money. You smell well put together. It's not too serious that you can't wear it with a t-shirt, but it definitely begs you to step it up a little bit with your wardrobe and your attire. Not cheap, but it doesn't smell cheap. You get the performance, you get the uniqueness, you get the quality when you get KAJAL Homme. So that is my picks for the 5 categories for a fragrance starter pack with a few examples from each. I could have went with different examples obviously, but I went with what I think's the best spots to start with fresh, all around, winter, cold weather, dates and evenings, and luxury niche. Until next time, do me a real quick favor, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, because I do appreciate all the feedback and I love hearing from you guys. Obviously there's other fragrances that could have went here, but I felt these were the best route to go in my opinion. Some are cliched for those of you that have been around this for a while. I know it can be boring sometimes to talk about fragrances like Versace Man Eau Fraiche, Dior Sauvage, Bleu de Chanel, Versace Eros, stuff like that. La Nuit de l'Homme. I get it, but this video was geared towards the new guys out there, and when I say new guys, the several gentlemen that asked me to do a video like this. Was this the exact video I was asked for? From a few people, yes, but the overall consensus from the requests was this style video. So here you go. Anytime I get enough requests, I deliver. So I try to anyways. And until next time, I will say, if you get your hands on any of these fragrances, you give them a spray now, you might end up thanking me later. Have a good one, guys.